Games kinda sucked this year. That was my initial thought when I saw the nominees for the 2021 Game of the Year award. And I agree that this statement is kinda harsh, especially when all those games are very well made and innovative and just all around fun experiences. However, despite being objectively good, none of these games left any long-lasting impression in my memory. I honestly forgot that some of them even came out this year, and to be fair, that goes not only for video games in 2021. Everything in this year feels like an incohesive, chaotic mess that went by so rapidly and unremarkably that I'm not even sure it actually happened. And one of the reasons for this may be because we have been stuck in the perpetual end of the world for the last 2 years. It's hard to have any enjoyable and outstanding memories of a year, the majority of which we've spent locked inside our cubic flats, waiting for the plague to disappear. And then we spent the rest of that year observing how people straight up ignored the cure, which could finally end this era of Zoom calls and people freaking out over small pieces of fabric on your face. What the actual fuck? But video game wise, it also wasn't the best of times for game productions. I know it may be shocking to hear, but making these big budget epic tales, which take you on a once in a lifetime journey, is kinda hard. It's actually really hard. It's a collaborative effort which takes hundreds or sometimes even thousands of people in order to create that one thing that we will shit all over just to earn some juicy internet points. But coordinating such an enormous mass of people in times when, you know, the world is on fire is kinda complicated. Even in the best of times, creating those fun and carefree games we all love and enjoy is a soul-crushing harrowing experience which will take years of your life, and then all of the profits from your hard work will go directly to Bobby Kotick, after which you will most probably be fired because game sales weren't high enough and Bobby was forced to buy only one yacht instead of 3 like he originally planned. And the worldwide pandemic probably didn't make any of that easier. I'd assume it made it even harder to maintain your sanity in this business that aims to crunch the shit out of you until you either die or start generating profits. But even after taking all this into consideration, there still wasn't something that blew my mind this year. You know, something that would make me glad that I still spent my days scrolling Twitter in order to be up to date with all of the game-related news. Yes, I might have a Twitter addiction problem, but at the same time I don't think it will be a stretch to say that it was quite hard to get excited for new games in 2021. Of course you can disagree, but it was for me. And it got me thinking about how it gets harder and harder to hype myself for new game announcements these days. Probably it's all of the end of the world stuff of which I already talked, but at the same time it may be just the games which kinda suck these days. The inhumane working conditions in game studios, the predatory monetization schemes, lazy releases which aim to profit out of your nostalgia, and all of that kind of stuff kinda kills any excitement that I may have from this clearly expensive and very pretty announcement trailer. I guess the more you follow this industry, the harder it is to keep all of its skeletons hidden from you. If someone showed me Valhalla back when I was 12, I would piss my pants from all of the cool stuff you can do in it. Hell, only the idea that I could be a Viking killing British people would make it worth it. However, today, I'd rather stick my head into a boiling pot of oil rather than spend another hour in that tedious, uninspired mess that somehow manages to feel even more derivative than its prequel. But as much as I'd like to reduce all of my grievances with modern gaming to Ubisoft being a soulless company which would kidnap your mother just to sell her back to you as a part of an exclusive Battle Pass bundle, I can't really do that. They're a symptom, not a cause. And the main cause for games sucking these days is that gaming world has changed. The games are not this underground and nerdy thing anymore. Everyone from your mom to your gym teacher plays games now. So the marketing, monetization and even the content of modern games are tweaked to satisfy the widest possible audience. But if you try to satisfy everyone, then you'll end up creating these unfocused, ununified blobs, which are filled with the most popular gaming trends that don't enhance your experience in any meaningful way, but rather serve as a checkmark list to satisfy the demands of the marketing department. The modern games suck because the gaming landscape has changed. And if it used to be about creativity and self-expression, then now it's about maximizing your profits to satisfy the shareholders at the end of your fiscal year. The world of gaming has changed, and that is the reason why we don't get hyped for games anymore. And there is absolutely no other possible explanation for why games don't feel the same these days. Absolutely none. Zero, nil, nada. Because it can't be that it's us who changed and not the games, right? There is this video, Growing Older with Video Games, by Leonardo da Vinci, I guess. I have no idea how to read that, but it happens to be one of my favorite pieces of content that was ever posted on this godforsaken website. But it's not a type of a video which I can watch endlessly on repeat, because it's just that good. I mean, it is good. However, every time I watch it, I feel a certain discomfort. It makes me uneasy, even anxious to a certain extent. If you haven't seen it, then go do that. But in the broadest of terms, this video is about how even if you love video games, there might be a certain point in your life when you simply wouldn't be able to commit yourself to this hobby anymore. At least not to an extent you'd like to. With years passing, our list of responsibilities grows bigger and bigger. Jobs, relationships, family obligations, social chores, all of that eats our time, and we can't just spend our days endlessly grinding through Skyrim dungeons anymore. We have stuff to do, stuff to take care of, stuff to plan for our future. And that means that there might be a point at which we would have to leave this hobby with which we've grew up and of which we have such a fond memories behind. And the idea of that makes me sad. It feels like at this point all these pixels became an inseparable part of me, and giving up on them would be a betrayal of myself. But time passes. And even if I and thousands of others like me would like to have the ability to completely lose ourselves inside these vast, beautiful worlds and spend hundreds of hours exploring every single little cranny in them, we simply cannot allow ourselves to do that anymore. We grew up, and this industry grew up with us. Even if I despise everything that Ubisoft stands for, I still understand why it's so profitable. It creates games for those same people who still like video games, but because life happened, they cannot devote enough time to them. So something that would take hundreds of hours to complete, with complicated plot and intricate hardcore gameplay mechanics, is just inaccessible to them. It's hard to master a complex game when all you have is a couple of hours a day which you can devote to it. And for some people, even a couple of hours is a luxury that they cannot afford. So when time is a luxury, a 100 hours game is something that you most probably never finish. That's why Ubisoft gives you something that you could easily jump in and out without losing absolutely nothing. Its plots, gameplay, worlds, characters are a video game equivalent of a chewing gum. You sit in front of your TV with an open bottle of beer or some other beverage of your own personal choosing and just relax for an hour or two without feeling obliged to ever finish any of these games. And yes, these games are still predatory, regressive and tedious. But it's something that you can always come back to. And for some people, it's the only way of still keeping this hobby in their life and not giving up on it completely. My point is that the game industry has changed, but we changed just as much, if not more. We can't allow ourselves to be the same people whom we used to be when we fell in love with video games. So perhaps it's not the games that sucked this year, but it's just us who suck now. Or perhaps we just need some break in all of the madness that the last couple of years have been. To be fair, I don't even know at this point. But I think I'm gonna go and take a walk. And I'll see you when I'll see you.